Of course, they had moved to Canada after leaving London and then here to California. And we know that Harry had always spoken extremely fondly of both of his grandparents, including his grandfather. At this point, we do not know if they have any travel plans to head back to the United Kingdom. We expect some of those answers to come.
He is so lucky to be alive. Actually, the football pads that he was wearing actually helped him with the blow from that bullet, but that bullet still, doctors say, will stay in his neck.
Every doctor that I talked to said that I was a walking miracle.
High tensions at a sporting event, pretty normal, but not this time. Russell Duffy, or Rusty as loved ones call him, was on the sidelines with his dad during a timeout in a semi-pro football game at Lenora Park Saturday when all of a sudden someone shot the father of two and husband in the neck.
My whole body goes numb and I fall backwards. And I look up to my dad and I said, "Call 911, I've been shot."
His wife and kids watched from the stands as the whole thing went down. Medics immediately rushed Duffy to the hospital. Duffy says he's lucky to even be alive.
So like every time the wind hits me or somebody touches me on my arm, it's almost like I'm being electrocuted. And so that makes it kind of difficult. But as I told the doctor, even if I had to live with that the rest of my life, I would take that over not being able to live at all.
Duffy is in a neck brace, slow to walk, and may never play football again. But he says the sport meant everything to his family, so he will continue to teach his son about all the good that comes from the game.
When they think of semi...
Stop the Warnock Pelosi plan now. Donate today. NRSC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
When it comes to your
2,000 would be nice. As far as I know, we're down another 400.
Enough is enough. Georgians taking to the streets to express frustration with rising crime in the city of Atlanta.
Sick of crime! Sick of crime!
Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms and her primary opponent in this year's mayoral race, City Council President Felicia Moore, hear you loud and clear.
We are committed to putting an additional 250 new officers on the street during the next fiscal year.
Her challenger says that's not realistic, but 100 to 150 officers is. If elected into office, Moore says she pledges to address the mass exodus of officers from the force by creating a different environment in the department. In fact, she says she's spoken to APD officers who've left, but said they would come back to work under her leadership.
Because they have left because of morale issues and not trusting in the leadership of the city and the department, that if in fact I am successful, which I will be, to be the next mayor of the city of Atlanta, that they would have a desire to come back.
Mayor Bottoms says she too has a fix for the problem already in the works. And that plan includes passing the largest pay increase for officers in the city's history and also adding in a retention bonus to prevent officers from wanting to leave. That's the latest here in Buckhead. I'm Natalie Foltz for Good Day Atlanta.
Natalie, thank you. Meanwhile, another run for mayor by many politically and community involved Atlantans who share deep concerns about Mayor Bottoms' performance, end quote. The election is set for November 2nd, and you can count on Fox 5 to bring you the latest election updates on air and online at fox5atlanta.com.
The time now, 8:10, and coming up on Good Day Atlanta.
The deputy's eyes.
But what made them suspicious was that two vehicles took off in a hurry from this one particular home.
Deputy Kiana Jackson said that they went up to the house those cars sped off from and found the car they were looking for, along with another. She says they came back with a warrant and found 5 more. Investigators believe the stolen cars were being stripped of their parts on the property. The parts, they think, were then likely sold off on the black market. Most of the cars recovered shared a common thread.
A lot of these vehicles have been reported stolen out of the Metro Atlanta area. So if you're traveling to Atlanta, just please be careful.
Rob DiRienzo, Fox 5 News.
Up next for you at 11, Atlanta police.
Robertson with stealing Tiffany Foster's car. Detectives tell us they have evidence Robertson drove the car to College Park and left it there after her family reported the 35-year-old missing on March the 1st. Authorities say at this time, Robertson's not a suspect in Foster's disappearance.
Is he a person of interest?
Not at this time, no.
So his involvement just right now deals only with the car?
Correct, yes.
Investigators say Robertson did not mention the car in a news conference 2 weeks ago or his involvement with it. Robertson claims Foster left their Noonan apartment to run errands the day family members reported her missing. New tonight at 11, a family is searching for a missing woman when they went to the home in Bethlehem.
Sheriff's investigators got here well before dawn. They say they saw evidence in this home that Kim Mason may have been here. And once they started talking to the man who lived here, Adam Hurd, things didn't add up. That's when they started searching and made the discovery.
Began searching the home from the top to bottom.
Mayoral County Sheriff Judd Smith says they were looking for Kim Mason. The Gwinnett County woman had been reported missing a couple of days ago. Sheriff Smith says she had been in a relationship with Adam Hurd, who was staying here on Tanner's Bridge Road at the home of his elderly father. As they looked around, deputies noticed this door in the back of the home that led to a crawl space.
You enter the crawl space area, and it's about a 6-foot crawl space area. It's just a dirt floor, and there's some items stored in there.
When they opened the door, they saw freshly disturbed soil and knew they were close to making a horrifying discovery.
Began hand digging, trying to find, and then that's when they found the body.
Sheriff Smith says Kim Mason's body was in a shallow grave inside that crawl space. Adam Hurd was arrested and faces numerous charges, including concealing the death of another, tampering with evidence, theft, possession of a firearm, and violation of parole. This is a previous mugshot of him from the Department of Corrections. Hurd went to jail as investigators continue to search the home for any clue as to how Kim Mason died.
We find the manner of death. We're hoping that that'll give us a clear path of how she, unfortunately passed away.
Sheriff Smith says depending on what the autopsy shows, Hurd could face additional charges. We have been in contact with Kim Mason's family. They, of course, are just devastated to hear the news. In Barrow County, Denise Dillon, Fox 5 News.
For identification to request an absentee ballot. In a statement, Mayor Bottoms says the voting restrictions of SB 202 will disproportionately impact Atlanta's residents, particularly in communities of color and other minority groups. The administrative order is designed to do what those in the majority of the state legislature did not expend access to our right to vote.
Tonight, the search continues for the
corporate meeting concludes on the 13th. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms has issued an admission. One man took off running. Police say a second person jumped into a truck and then drove toward an officer. That officer opened fire, but investigators don't know if the suspect was hit.
Woldesonbet was armed with a rifle when he opened fire inside the Riverside Tech Park.
We can confirm that he's an active member of the Navy at the rank of E4. He resides in the city of Frederick, not on the military base.
Police say the suspect drove to nearby Fort Detrick where he worked. They say he drove through the gate without permission, and that's when they went after him. They say he pulled out a gun and then officers shot and killed him. The condition of the two victims is unknown. New tonight, border agents in California have just announced they've arrested 2 men on the FBI's terrorism watch list.
Officials say the 2 men are from Yemen. And as Fox's Jamie Chambers reports, both men were caught at separate times near the Calexico border.
The Department of Homeland Security has announced the arrest of 2 Yemeni nationals, both failing on their separate attempts to sneak into the United States. On January 29th, a 33-year-old man was arrested just 10 yards across the Mexico-Calexico border. He was then identified as being on the terrorism watch list along with the no-fly list and carrying a secret SIM card hidden in his shoe. 2 months later, another 26-year-old Yemeni terrorism suspect was arrested 2 miles from the Calexico border station and was detained.
We have always been just one slip up away from another 9/11. The kind of disaster that happened on 9/11 can be done again with a truckload of fertilizer. It can be done again with a stolen aircraft.
Congressman Darrell Issa says with the recent influx of migrant children at the border, agents are under increased pressure to handle the humanitarian crisis along with the security issues.
There's no question at all. High-value targets have to be intercepted at the border, or they slip into the United States and are much harder to find.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says these border agents are overwhelmed.
These border agents that are doing an extraordinary job in unbelievable times can't be on the border protecting us.
While terrorism is always the biggest fear, Congressman Issa says sometimes these suspected operatives have a different agenda.
They're simply coming into the neighborhoods to make money. Hezbollah, for example, it targets trying to raise money through illicit activities and then fund attacks in Israel and Lebanon.
Still sitting here. North Avenue entrance to the Beltline. They don't belong up here. Idiots.
Over by the courthouse.